Richard KNOWLER Last updated 1404, May 23, 2018. Scott Robertson left, and Chris Boyd worked together when the latter was the head coach of the New Zealand under-20 team several seasons ago. Opinion: two of the more interesting characters in New Zealand rugby will sit at the Super Rugby poker table in Christchurch on Friday night. Representing the Crusaders will be Scott Robertson. Across from him will be Chris Boyd from the Hurricanes. Let's start with Robertson. When he started work as Crusaders coach, he vowed not to change and in many ways has remained true to his word. Robertson is unorthodox, and for that we should be thankful. Crusaders coach Scott Robertson skates to a surf session at Scarborough Beach in Christchurch during the summer. During the summer, the former All Blacks back rower and surfing fanatic allowed himself to be photographed riding his skateboard, with a paddleboard under his wing, where he lives in the seaside suburb of Sumner, Christchurch. Last year, after guiding the Crusaders to the Super Rugby title, he went into breakdance mode on the turf of Ellis Park in Johannesburg. More, 28 Black Ferns contracts awarded, Taufu'a can shake up the abs, Cully, origin attitude Cooper's problem, Sopoaga, artificial rugby pitches, ouch, McNichol, Perry injures hamstring at camp. Former Chiefs coach Dave Rennie didn't always see eye to eye with the NZ Rugby power brokers. And, on a more serious note, he has also opened up about how he deals with dyslexia. No doubt this is good for his public image, but rugby has also benefited immensely from such positive vibes. Robertson has proved successful coaches can also be colorful and quirky. Boyd comes from a different background. A trained pharmacist, he is the only current Super Rugby head coach in New Zealand who hadn't played in the competition. Maybe that is a good thing. It means he hasn't been filtered through a system that, from early adulthood, doesn't actively encourage anyone to offer a dissenting voice. Many rugby players are decent people. But some, when they get a microphone waggled anywhere near their faces, offer the bare minimum in terms of sound bites. It's excruciating for all involved. And that's a shame, because it gives self-appointed snobs in the wider community reason to say rugby attracts dim-witted oafs. Which is simply untrue. Not that Boyd tumbles into the trap of being too afraid to stick up for himself. At the end of the season, he will surrender his laptop to the Hurricanes administrators, sweep out the office and transfer his intellectual property to English Premiership club Northampton. That isn't good for New Zealand rugby. How can it be? Boyd clearly knows his beans in terms of coaching, with previous coach Mark Hammett having done much of the dirty work by forcing a dramatic culture change at the Hurricanes. Boyd got the team to the final in his first year in charge in 2015, won the title the following season and reached the semis last year. Along with Robertson, he's the only bloke currently in a hands-on role with a Kiwi team to have won a Super Rugby title. And soon he will be out the door. There's another reason to lament the imminent departure of Boyd, although you get the feeling the top administrators at NZ Rugby won't be weeping into their neckties. Boyd, possibly leaning towards the nothing-to-lose approach, hasn't been afraid to question NZ Rugby's methods in terms of telling how the Super Rugby teams to go about their business. Yes, we are talking about the All Blacks camps and foundation days, which have been inserted into the program this year. His decision to make a stand should be applauded, although you can bet NZ Rugby were in no mood to deliver a standing ovation. Despite protests to the contrary from the National Union, the communication process was not flash. The first the Super Rugby clubs knew about this was when an email was fired out, advising them to expect a visit from Don Trigger, who was then NZ Rugby's high-performance manager. From there, the grand plan was revealed. In essence, Boyd, knowing he has little to lose, is firing the bullets for the coaches from the other 4 clubs who will be aware they must play it safe if they want to continue to have a future with NZ Rugby. For the record, the Crusaders and Hurricanes will suffer in equal measure from the directive that the All Blacks had to attend a camp from Sunday to Tuesday, meaning they will only have one decent training run prior to the cracker that awaits us at Ami Stadium on Friday night. In rugby circles, it was also no secret that former Chiefs coach Dave Rennie wasn't afraid to speak his mind, and the heavy hitters at NZ Rugby weren't terribly sorry when he joined Scottish club Glasgow Warriors last year. There is a real danger the celebrification of NZ Rugby will result in a lack of scrutiny, and as a consequence, undermine Super Rugby coaches and what they are trying to achieve. Rugby in this country needs people like Boyd, Rennie and Robertson. It needs characters and men who are not afraid to stand up for the little bloke. There is a risk the game in this country will be poorer without them. Stuff.